on YouTube as well. Okay, I want to share with you all a story. They say that the Kleisenberger Rebbe never cried once during the Holocaust. Let me just tell you who the Kleisenberger Rebbe is. The Kleisenberger Rebbe, his name was Rabbi Yekusiel Yehuda Halberstam. He was the Rebbe of the Sands Kleisenberg Hasidic dynasty. He was one of the youngest Hasidic Rebbes in all of Europe. He had thousands of Hasidim in the city of Kleisenberg in Romania before World War II. When the Nazis came into Romania and they rounded him up, took him to the concentration camps, his wife and his 11 children were all killed by the Nazis in יימח שמם. This man, the Kleisenberger Rebbe, Yekusiel Yehuda Halberstam, eventually he survived the war. He moved to Israel. He literally rebuilt from scratch his Hasidic community. He actually built a very large hospital in Israel that's run according to Jewish law. This was something he made a vow. It's a beautiful story in and of itself. He made a promise to God that if he was to survive the Holocaust, he would make a hospital to treat and to help other people in need. They say this story that the Kleisenberger Rebbe never once cried the entire Holocaust, despite his wife being killed, despite his children being killed, despite the torture, the horrific, degrading, dehumanizing things that the Nazis did. The Kleisenberger Rebbe never cried, except for one time. There was one time that the Kleisenberger Rebbe cried. You know when that was? When he saw the American troops coming to liberate the Jews, the prisoners in the concentration camp. When the Kleisenberger Rebbe saw the American troops coming to liberate him, was the first time that he began to cry. And he explained to those that were with him when they asked him why he was crying, now when he's finally being liberated, now is when you're going to cry. And he said that the only thing that had kept me going through all the horrors of the Holocaust was knowing that the only way that this could all end was with the coming of Mashiach. It was clear in the Kleisenberger Rebbe's mind that the only way this horrific destruction that was happening to the Jewish people could end was with the coming of Mashiach. And now, says the Kleisenberger Rebbe, when I see these American troops are coming and they're the ones liberating us, instead of it being Elijah the prophet holding a shofar in his hand, heralding the coming of Mashiach, riding in on the clouds, or even on the donkey, to see Mashiach coming, and knowing that the end of the story is not Mashiach, now I'm heartbroken. And now the Kleisenberger Rebbe began to cry. We have to pray. We're all davening. I wanted to actually start off by saying that today's class is dedicated for the refuah shlema of every single person in the world suffering from coronavirus, every single Jew that needs refuah shlema, every human being that needs refuah shlema, but especially have a list of names. Every name that I'm going to say now is someone that I know who they are personally, meaning I might not be close friends with them, but every name that I'm going to say now for refuah shlema are names of people. Let me see if someone texted me. Every single name that I'm going to say now is the name of a person that I personally know that is suffering with this virus and needs refuah shlema. David ben Shoshana should have a refuah shlema. He's in a hospital on a ventilator. Rav Nachman ben Visa Yehudis Halevi, Zevi Yecheskel HaKoyin ben Mindel, Levi Bas Chana Priva, Pinchas ben Chaya Rivka, Menachem Mendel ben Sarah, Shalom Dover ben Rachel Bela, Malka Zelda Bas Liba, David ben Rivka Edel, Menachem Mendel ben Rivka, Rachel Bas Fega Chaya, Dover Bas Chaya Fega, Shter Zalmin ben Rivka, Aaron ben Florence. Aaron ben Florence. There are more that I know that I don't have their Hebrew name in front of me. Every single one of them, every single person that needs to have complete healing. But the point is that it's not only those that are suffering from coronavirus. The impact that these last 2 weeks and that this virus is having on the mental, emotional, and stability and sanity of so many is terrible. Terrible. Myself maybe even included, because I'm speaking to so many other people. People are really, really hurting. Really hurting. People are scared. People are afraid. People don't know what to do. People are afraid to go shopping, to buy food for Yom Tov. People are afraid to be the first time alone. People are afraid of how they're going to go to work, and they're working in a lady called me, not giving away too many details because obviously it's a private conversation. And she's asking me for advice that I can help her. She, on one hand, her job is open. They're asking her, this is last week before Broward County closed all non-essential businesses. She's working in an environment where she's working in a room with many 300 people are working in the same room where she is. Not going to get into any more details. And, the company couldn't care less. She's making a lot of money. She's afraid to bring the virus home to her kids. On the other hand, if she stops working, she has no money. She has no money. And this is a woman that we've helped. So how do you advise such a woman? Tell her to go to work and risk your health and the health of your kids because guarantee that you're not going to have food for them in 2 weeks from now if you don't go to work. So the point is, there's two ways that we can be trying to get through this. One way we can be trying to get through this is by saying, God, please let things go back to normal. Please let life go back to the way it used to be. Please let the world become normal again. Find a cure for this virus. Or we could be davening, and this is what I'm davening. Let this be the moment of transformation, like the birth of a child. Have you ever seen or ever been present as a baby is leaving the safety of its womb and going out into the real world? It's a very painful, traumatic, bloody, difficult, sometimes lengthy process. It's not easy. No new beginning is easy. No new beginning is easy. And yet we pray to Hashem and we say, this moment that we're in is literally a unique moment in history. Literally a unique moment in history. If you think about it, when we talk about that the entire world will be united in knowing God and in serving God, the concept of the entire world being united was as far-fetched as any other religious, spiritual idea could be. Far-fetched. Who would think about it? However, when you realize that today the world is literally more united than it has ever been, ever, in the course of human history. There has never been a time in human history where the entire globe was as focused on everyone, where there was a recognition that there's no boundaries and no borders and no, I belong to this country, you belong to that country. Today we're living in a time, unprecedented times, where it's clear that the entire world is one. There's no more separation between me and you. Boundaries, the germs have no boundaries. There's no limitations. The idea that the whole world will become united in one mission to serve God today is more realistic than it has ever been before. Indeed, we were davening for you. And so tonight is Rosh Chodesh Nisan. So even though I was scheduled to give a class to them on the Shtana and the 4 sons and the 4 questions and the 4 answers that we don't say, but we really do say, stay tuned. God willing, next week I will give you that class. Tomorrow night will be the culinary club. But tonight I want to give you a short blessing and give you some inspiration and spirituality to the concept of Rosh Chodesh Nisan, because it's painful enough that tomorrow morning in Shul I won't be davening with a minyan. I won't do the Torah reading for Rosh Chodesh. I won't have the energy of all the guys that come in the morning to daven together. So at the very least I can take this cup of water and make a blessing to all of you, a l'chaim to all of you, share with you an idea of Rosh Chodesh, specifically of the month of Nisan, and then I want to give you a tour. Don't go away, as I said before. After I finish this idea on Rosh Chodesh Nisan, the first day of the month of Nisan, I'm going to turn the camera around and show all of you something that none of you have seen before. None of you that are watching have seen what I will show you in about 10, 15 minutes. So first, l'chaim. I'm speaking to you tonight not because I want to give a class, but because I am craving the emotional connection that comes from being able to connect to all of you. We need it. You need it. I need it. We all need it. We need the galus to end. We need the exile to end. We need the suffering to end. We need all the sickness to end. I know people that are literally afraid that they're about to lose a loved one. It has to end. Has to end. Has to end. Tonight, as the sun goes down, right outside the window is the light. It's already after sunset. It's already after sunset. It's Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Tonight begins the month of Nisan. Talmud tells us that the month of Nisan is a very, very special month because the month of Nisan is the month when the Jewish people were redeemed. U'b'Nisan asidin lehigoel, and Nisan is the month in which we will be redeemed. This month that is starting right now as we speak, this month called the month of Nisan, is also very commonly referred to as Chodesh HaGeula, the month of redemption. First and foremost is because it is the month that we were redeemed from our original slavery and suffering in Egypt. It is the month in which we experience even greater miracles than the exodus from Egypt, which is the splitting of the sea, the turning of ocean into dry land, the drowning of our enemies. There's much to say about that, but that's not for tonight. And as it says in the verse, just like the days when I took you out of Egypt, so too I will show you even greater wonders and miracles with the coming of Mashiach. Nisan is always, in all of Jewish history, been considered the month most fitting and most worthy of being the month of our redemption. So my friends, I say this with all my heart, and you need to say this with your hearts, because me saying it is not enough. We need to turn to our Father in heaven. We need to turn to Hashem and say, Tate in Himmel, Father in heaven. It's the month of Geula. This entire confusion that you made in the universe, the shutting of shul, the shutting of schools, the separation of families, the distancing of communities, the breaking apart of the normal social fabric of society, you're destroying it. It's only okay to break something, to destroy something, if you're making something even better in its place. How is God allowed to destroy the Beis HaMikdash? There's a halacha that you're not allowed to destroy a shul, a house of God, which is very relevant. We're going to show you in the camera in a few minutes when I'm done with this message about the month of Nisan. You're only allowed to destroy a shul if you're going to make something better afterwards. If God is destroying the normal social fabric of society, and God is destroying the glue of the minyan, and the power of a class of Jews getting together, and the power of a Hebrew school. Today, my wife did a virtual Hebrew school on Zoom with all of our Hebrew school students. She sat with them, she davened with them, she told them the Pesach story with a PowerPoint on the screen, which is beautiful. But it's not the same as 2 hours of 45 kids sitting in shul, where you walk into shul and you see 45 different kids in 4 different classes learning. So Hashem could only make this confusion if this is the birth pains, and this is the coming of something far greater, something far more powerful than we've ever experienced. That this year we won't be celebrating Pesach alone in our homes without our guests and without our families, but the opposite. We'll be sitting together in Yerushalayim HaKodesh, in Jerusalem, our holy city, our city of gold. We'll be sitting together as one massive family, sitting in the sukkah made with the fish, the skin of the Leviathan fish, eating the meat of the Shar Habar of this massive celebration of Pesach. Tonight is the beginning of the month of Nisan. The word Nisan, we'll talk about the name. The word Nisan is spelled Nun Yud Samach Nun, which basically spells the word Nes, is a miracle. Nes means a miracle. Nisin is Nisan, Nisei Nisim. The Nun Yud Samach is Nes. The next Nun, the end of the word, is Nisei Nisim. Miracles of miracles. Hope you follow that. If not, just trust me. The word Nisan stands for Nes of Nisim, wonders of miracles and miracles. The month of redemption is a month of miracles. Nisan is the beginning of the month of spring. In fact, in biblical Torah, you don't find anywhere the word Nisan. None of the months are called the names that we call the months now. Adar, Nisan, Iyar, Sivan. Those names don't exist in the Bible, in the Chumash. They only came later when the Jews were living in Babylonia after the destruction of the first Beis HaMikdash when we no longer had the temple and we were already in exile. So in the Torah, how is this month of Nisan referred to? So actually today was the day that God appeared to Moshe and gave Moshe the very first commandment of all the commandments that were given to the Jewish people, which was that today is Rishon Hu Lachem, the Chodshei Hashanah. This is the beginning for you of the month, Rosh Chodesh, of the first of the month, Chodesh HaAviv, as the month of the spring. And whenever the Torah wants to tell us that Pesach is celebrated in the time of the year, it mentions that it's celebrated in the month of Aviv, the month of the spring, and that is the biblical name for the month that begins tonight, Chodesh HaAviv, month of spring. What is spring? You all know what spring is, especially if you don't live in Florida. If you live in the dangerous quarantine zone of New York, you know that spring is a time of birth, a time of increasing light, a time when the air is getting warmer, when everyone's able to get out of their homes and take off their coats, and you go outside and you watch all the trees begin to blossom, and you watch all the the earth begin to grow grass. It's a beautiful feeling to see that the world is alive. Florida, we're blessed to see it all year round. But if you go to places that actually have seasons, and they know what the seasons are, so they'll tell you that there's such a concept called spring, when all of a sudden everything begins to grow. And you appreciate that life is a gift. Life is a blessing. Life is a bracha from Hashem. And by the way, this gift of life that we see in the spring, when everything begins to bloom and to blossom, is not a gift that comes from your effort. It's a gift from Hashem. It's a gift that comes from above, regardless of whether or not you deserve it, regardless of whether or not you've done something to earn it. The trees begin to grow, and the grass begins to grow, and the whole, everyone's outside and enjoying the beautiful fresh air and the longer days, because the sun is shining. Shining not because we earned the sun, but because God wants the sun to shine. So this is the very first mitzvah the Jews were given to us, the idea of birth of a Jewish nation, just like the universe is experiencing the birth and the bloom and the growth of the trees. The Jewish people are experiencing the growth of a nation out of slavery into freedom. In fact, in the verse that I mentioned before, that this month will be for you the first months, the head of all the months of the year. The word new month 3 times, the idea of a chazaka, etc. Therefore, the energy of the month of Nisan, the energy of the month that's beginning tonight, is an energy of birth, of a gift from above, not just birth, but a birth that comes from above to below. In fact, if you were to write out, it could be spelled in 12 ways. If you have 4 letters, there's 12 variations how to sequence, how to order those 4 letters. Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey. The month that is correct, if you will, the month of the 12 months of the year in which God's name is spelled properly, Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey, is this month, the month of Nisan. And these 4 letters, Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey, spell out the words Yismechu an acronym for the words Yismechu Hashemayim, Yisagel Haaretz. These 4 letters spell the 4 words: rejoice, O heavens, and exult, O earth, which is showing the idea of rejoice, O heavens, and then the earth, a flow of energy going from above to below. This is the energy of Nisan, an energy of transcendental miracles, an energy of God just coming in where God, as we say in Haggadah, was revealed upon the Jewish people, the King of all kings, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It was a revelation of the Jews that I discussed last night, that it was a revelation that transcended the judgment, the midah of judgment. Technically, legally, the Jews hadn't earned liberation from Egypt. They hadn't proven their worthiness to be taken out of Egypt. And yet the miracle of the Exodus is that God came and redeemed us anyway. God in his great abounding kindness, that even though you haven't earned it, even though you don't deserve it, even though you sunk down to the lowest of the 49 levels of spiritual impurity, still I am going to come and redeem you and save you. Therefore, when we talk about the Hallel, the Seder Sari, we're talking about this revelation of divine energy from above to below. Hence it's called Chodesh HaAviv, the month of the spring. Because the month of the spring is a month of this birth coming as a gift from God. How do you spell the word Aviv? Aleph, Bet, Yud, Bet. Aleph, Bet, Aleph, Beis, first two letters of the Aleph, starting from the beginning, going down the Yud is God's name, or the Yud Beis is the 12 months of the year. So the Av, the Father in heaven, Aleph, Bet spells Av, the Father, which is the beginning of the Aleph, Bet, the beginning of divine flow of energy, comes down into the Yud Beis, into the 12 months of the year. The entire energy of the other months come from Nisan. As opposed to, by the way, Rosh Hashanah. And most people think that when is the beginning of the Jewish New Year. Most Jews will tell you that the Jewish New Year begins on Rosh Hashanah, which is on what day of the calendar? The first day of the month of Tishrei. Exactly 6 months from today is Rosh Hashanah. Tishrei is spelled Tov, Shin, Reish, Yud. Tov is the last letter of the alphabet. Shin is the second to last letter. Reish is the third to last letter, followed by the Yud, which is God's name. So Tishrei, the month, what we call the Jewish New Year, is a month that we are spiritually elevating, uplifting, and cleansing ourselves in the process of tshuva, in the process of repentance, as we come to Yom Kippur to atone and become close to God. Hello, Jacob. However, Aviv, the month of spring, is Aleph Bet, the going downwards, the Father coming down to the 12 months of the year. This is Nisan. Nisan is a month of Nisei, miracles of miracles. Told you that the name of Nisan came in the times of Babylonia, and the Jews were living in Babylonia. So Nisan could possibly be from the word, the Aramaic word, Nisanu, which means to move or to start over. And the point is that we can have a fresh new beginning. We can turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we can say, God, this craziness that you've unleashed on the entire globe, there is no country that is exempt. There's no, the Germans, the fear, the panic is everywhere. This panic you've unleashed on the universe is the beginning of a brand new spring. We don't want life to go back to normal, God. We don't want to go back to where only, 30,000 people die a year from the regular flu. We say, God, we want it to go to a brand new era where no one dies of any flu. Not the regular flu, not the H1N1 flu, not the coronavirus flu, not cancer, God forbid, nothing. Should be no more death in the world, no more sickness in the world, no more illness in the world, no more suffering, no more worry about money. Shouldn't exist anymore. The sign of the month of Nisan is a ram. The Aries is a lamb. God took us out of Egypt like a lamb. Even though we weren't ready for the redemption, we weren't ready for the liberation, nevertheless, God came and said, I'm going to take you out. That is my blessing to you tonight. From all my heart. That's sick physically, that's sick emotionally, to all those that are stuck at home in very unhealthy homes. Because, by the way, there are people, we say that you're safest at home. There are some people that are unfortunately not safe at home, in unfortunately abusive relationships, abusive families, where there are nebach kids or people, spouses that are loyalenu, that are stuck in very, very dangerous environments right now. And God should help them. God should help every one of us, that the suffering we're going through should be the beginning of something so unbelievable. This should truly be the month of Geula. And I shared to many people privately last week. I'll share with you before I show you the tour of the shul that I want to show you. Please don't go away, because I want to give you a beautiful tour. Every Shabbos before the new month is called Shabbos Mivarchim, the Shabbos of blessing. And we bless the new month on the Shabbos before the month. So since tomorrow will be Rosh Chodesh, the blessing for the month of Nisan, that's beginning this week, would have been in synagogue this past Saturday, where after the Torah reading and after the Haftorah, we stand with the Torah on the bima and we give a blessing for the month to come. This month, we weren't able to do it. We did it at home, but as a shul, as a community with the Torah, we weren't able to do it. So who blessed this month as a community? The answer is God. The answer is God. We know that on the month, the Shabbos before Rosh Hashanah, which is also the Shabbos of blessing for the month ahead, the month of Tishrei, we don't do the blessing for the new month in the shul. Why not? Because we want to confuse the Satan. He shouldn't know what day Rosh Hashanah is. That's a weak answer, because I'm sure the Satan could Google what day is Rosh Hashanah. He can, buy. We have free calendars available at the front desk. He can come by and get a free calendar, and he'll see what day Rosh Hashanah is. Rather, it is explained that by the Jews not blessing the new month in shul, instead Hashem Himself blesses a new month of Tishrei, of Rosh Hashanah, and with the power of God's blessing the new month of Tishrei on the last Shabbos of the year, that's what gives us power to bless the other 11 months of the year. And so this past Saturday, I did not stand in shul, nor did any single rabbi anywhere in the world that I know of stand in the shul with a Torah and bless the month. So rather, who blessed the month? God blessed this month. And with God's blessing, this chodesh of a chodesh of Geula, that this month should be a month of Shin, with His blessing, we will indeed have the power that tomorrow, as we celebrate Rosh Chodesh Nisan, we won't be celebrating it in exile, but it will indeed be a brand new beginning of a brand new beginning of a brand new existence in the era of peace, in the era of no more boundaries, of no more wars, no more global territory, and of no more illness or sickness or pain, with the coming of Mashiach. And now, I'm going to end the YouTube video because I can't walk around with the laptop. And if you please go to my page, facebook.com/Rabbi Genki Denberg. And those that are watching on Facebook, I want to show you what's been going on in the shul the last 2 weeks. As you know, we have been doing renovations of our brand new daily chapel. The plan was to finish the daily chapel before Pesach. Pesach was, of course, going to be a busy time with the Seders. We had a bar mitzvah scheduled for the Sunday of Pesach, a big bar mitzvah scheduled, etc. Mashiach Suda. Passover is busy. After Passover, then we would start the demolition of the lobby to expand the lobby to be double the size and to be one massive entrance where they could be used for a reception area, etc. 2 weeks ago or so, I'm speaking to the contractor. We had an air conditioning inspection. I realized, hey, for shutting down the shul, there's no one coming. The building is close to the. I've been in the shul every single day, but the building is close to the public. We're not having any services. We're not having any classes. We're not having Hebrew school. Only because we care about your health, and protecting the health of our members is the absolutely most important thing, not only for us, but from a Torah perspective. Protecting the lives of people is the number one paramount importance in Judaism, is to protect the life and to make sure someone is safe. So therefore, we stopped. I realized a week ago, hey, we have time now. No one coming to Shabbos. You can get to work. There's no Hebrew school. We don't have to worry about kids going into building materials. And so we started demolition. We put on the floors. I'm going to take the camera, and I'm going to walk through and give you a tour of what we've been doing. And if you're watching on YouTube, go to Facebook, please. Let me stand up. 1 second. And let me turn my camera.